Hello, this is the Deep Focus show here, and we're gonna talk about the Oscars predictions in this one. And I'm Taavi, and I
And
have
I'm Max.
Max
Hello.
here too. And yeah, I guess we're gonna go every category and just
Yeah.
try to make it to the end. We're using the wiki list here, um, and we're gonna go one category at a time until the best picture and. We can start with visual effects, which I think it's gonna go to Dune.
Yeah, it's probably gonna go to Dune. I mean, I could see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes maybe getting it. And
Mm,
Wicked has like a lot of nominations, so I guess that's possible. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be Dune. I'm Better Man is that weird fucking Robbie Williams biopic where he's played by a monkey, which I didn't even get to
yeah.
see because it was such a flop that it closed in a single week where I live.
Oh, okay.
1 week. So I don't think
Oh
that's
man.
gonna win anything.
I think I'm just basing this because Dune won the BAFTA and Critics' Choice and some other
Yeah.
things. But next one, I'm kind of struggling. Film editing. Um, what's it
Yeah,
gonna
this
be,
one's
Max? I
hard.
don't know.
This one's really hard. Yeah. I've seen all these movies. Um I mean, Amelia Perez definitely has like the showiest editing of any of these, I think, but I
Hmm.
don't think it's necessarily going to win. Um,
Yeah.
I th I think my gut feeling is that it's going to go to The Brutalist because The Brutalist is like this big 3.5 hour epic. I mean, it is kind of a feat of editing that it moves as well as it does and isn't like
Hmm.
super boring. Uh, but I could see it going to Anora too. Like this happened a couple years ago with Nomadland, where Chloe Zhao, the director of that movie, also edited it, and she won editing and director. So,
Hmm.
it might happen, but I'm officially predicting The Brutalist.
I think Conclave won the BAFTA,
Yeah,
and The Brutalist wasn't nominated there.
yeah,
And Anora has been nominated pretty much everywhere. I don't know. Yeah, maybe the Brutalist. It's tough. I think it's between the first three of those for me. But like,
yeah. No,
but
that it's one of the toughest categories to predict. It is this year.
yeah, maybe the Brutalist. Yeah. Costume design. I think
Costume
it's Vict.
design.
Oh, how do you say
Yeah,
it? Vict?
yeah. I mean, I think it probably is too, because Wicked, they have like those iconic costume designs from Wizard of Oz that they're like playing off of and stuff. So yeah, it'll probably go to Wicked. Maybe Nosferatu, but yeah, I think we'll both guess Wicked for that one. Makes the most
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. And makeup and hairstyling. I think this is the substance.
I really hope this is a substance. I mean, it really deserves it. If it doesn't win in any other category, it should win in this one. A Different
Yeah.
Man had super impressive makeup, but I don't think that's gonna win anything. I'm
Yeah.
just glad it got nominated. But yeah, the substance, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, the substance have won like the most, I think, like BAFTA and Critics' Choice and some
Yeah.
makeup categories. And yeah, maybe that's the award for the substance. Best cinematography. I'm predicting The Brutalist myself.
Probably. I mean, I've been following all the critics awards and everything, and Nosferatu has won like a lot of critics awards for cinematography, but I don't really see that winning here. It's like not their kind of film. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it's going to be Emilia Perez or Maria. Um, and Dune and Nosferatu are both, you know, they're both genre movies. They didn't like part two of Dune nearly as much as part one. So, yeah, it probably is The
Yeah.
Brutalist, which is a beautiful looking movie. So I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I just didn't like Doom 1 won this award when it came.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, Dune 1 got way more nominations than part two for some reason. I thought part two was better, but
Mm.
yeah, they don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe but yeah, I think it's between the Brutalist and Nosferatu, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like the Brutalist is maybe more Oscar friendly
yeah, I
pick.
think so.
Best production design. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to imagine them not going with Dune Part Two just because it's like so impressive. But you have to factor in that the Brutalist like accomplished a lot with like a relatively small budget. Like it is really impressive filmmaking, and a big
Mm.
part of that is the production design. But I just can't see Dune not winning it. I think it's going to go to Dune.
I think I'm gonna predict here. Um, just it's kind of tough because I haven't seen, but
Yeah.
like I just I don't know. I think it has won quite a few also, like BAFTA and Critics' Choice and uh one of those set decorators awards
Yeah.
and apparently Conclave has won like Art Directors Guild, but like I don't know. But it could be Dune, or I don't know. I'm gonna say Wicked here too.
Yeah. I think any of those have a possibility of winning. There aren't really any weak nominees in that category.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Best sound. I'm gonna predict Dune here.
Yeah, I probably am too. This is actually one of the harder categories for me to predict. Um, because like they do like to give it to musicals sometimes. So I can see Wicked winning it. I can also see The Wild Robot winning it, and that's honestly probably what I would pick. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard not to go with Dune. I don't know. My gut, my gut is telling me that they're gonna go Wicked here just because of the whole musical aspect of it.
mm,
So that's what I'm gonna predict. But between Wicked, The Wild Robot, and Dune Part Two, it's really hard to pick one.
yeah. I don't know. I picked Dune mostly because also there's some sort of impressive factor about the worm riding scene in
Oh
the
yeah,
middle of the film that probably is a lot to do with the sound and but yeah, and I don't know. There's like multiple like like music related films. I don't know if they're gonna like uh are they gonna like split votes here? I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure. It's hard.
Um,
That's a really hard category too.
Original song.
Original song. Um, it's not going to be Diane Warren because there's a rule that Diane Warren has to get nominated every year and never win. So it's not going to be her. Um, the
Yeah,
Elton John song, I could see Elton John getting it just because he's so beloved, but he did win this award like a couple years ago,
yeah,
so I don't know. My guess is that it's going to go to El Mal from Amelia Perez,
yeah.
just because it is like kind of a catchy song and it is one of the more memorable sequences of the movie.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, I think I also gonna I I'm not sure am I really that high on any of these songs. I listened to this today actually, but like I'm basing El Mal because I feel like that has perhaps won the most like Golden Globe and Critics'
Yeah,
Choice, and
true.
but
Yeah,
like and there's two Emilia songs, so maybe some of those have to win. I don't know, but
yeah,
yeah, maybe they someday are gonna give Diane Warren like some honorary Oscar or something like.
yeah. Hopefully she'll get something. It is like every nomination, it gets like more depressing. It's like if I were her, I wouldn't even go anymore. I would just be so beaten down at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah, true. Like, is it like 15 or something? I haven't checked, but
Yeah,
like,
it's something
it's.
like that. It's in the teens for sure.
Oh man. Original score. I'm gonna think it's maybe The Brutalist, but I'm not sure.
It's probably gonna be the Brutalist. These nominees suck. Like this is a really weak list, I think. There were a lot of really innovative, really cool scores last year, and like this is
Challengers.
not this is not good. Yeah, Challengers got easily the most critics awards for score, like out in
Yeah.
front by a wide margin, and that didn't get nominated. So it's like out of
Uh,
these scores, the Brutalist is definitely the most interesting one. The Wild Robot had nice music too, but
hmm.
yeah, I agree. I think it's just through process of elimination, it'll go to the Brutalist.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of a sad category this time,
It
but
really is. Yeah,
what can you do? What can you do?
yeah,
Um, Next one I have animated short film.
yeah,
I gotta say I'm usually really bad at this
yeah.
shorts.
I basically just predict the short films based on the titles because I have like no idea like what sounds like it's gonna win an Oscar. I think out of these nominees, In the Shadow of the Cypress sounds like an Oscar winner to me, so I'm gonna go with that.
I checked a little bit and saw that Wander to Wonder won like some Annie short
Oh,
film and
okay.
BAFTA short film. So I'm basing it that, but like I have no clue about any of this,
Yeah.
really. Live
Yeah.
action short film
Yeah,
is
out of
also
these, I
tough.
think The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent is the most Oscar-y name, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy to go with that. I have no clue. Like, I think that was like one of the Palme d'Or short film
Yeah.
award films, but like I have no clue about any of this. Documentaries, short film.
The last
I
category we know nothing about.
I'm gonna go with The Only Girl in the Orchestra. I don't know, do they usually give Netflix documentaries, but like
Yeah.
it won something like Critics' Choice or something like that.
I'm gonna stick to my usual terrible prediction method, which is to pick the most Oscar-y title, and I think Instruments of a Beating Heart sounds very Oscar-y. So that is my prediction.
Very cool. Yeah. Uh, Next one is documentary feature film,
Mhm.
which I'm not really sure what's gonna happen here, honestly.
No idea. Yeah. The only well, I've seen a couple documentaries this year, but the one I was expecting to get nominated was Harper and Will. That didn't get nominated,
Yeah,
which is a bummer. That was a nice movie.
yeah.
And also that Christopher Reeve movie that everybody loved that didn't get nominated either.
Yeah, it wasn't
Uh,
even in the shortlist,
yeah, I
which is
think
odd.
that Porcelain War sounds like a really kind of like uplifting, nice movie. I know No Other Land probably won the most awards out of these. I
Yeah,
guess
I
I'll
think
say
so.
No Other Land.
I also gonna say no to Land. I also think it's kind of because I think this is the Israel Gaza film, I think.
Yeah,
So I think maybe that because maybe last year I think it was some Ukrainian
yeah,
documentary.
it's timely. Yeah,
So maybe it has that, but I have I'm not really good at these categories
yeah,
either.
me either.
Um, international feature film. I think it's Emilia Perez. It got so many nominations that I'm gonna predict.
Yeah, it probably is. This is a weird category this year, just because you have two of these movies that are also nominated for Best Picture. So if one of those two doesn't win International Feature, that doesn't really make sense. Because if one of these others is better than them, then why isn't that movie nominated for Best Picture? So
Mm,
the only I've seen two of these. Um, I've seen I'm Still Here and Amelia Perez.
yeah.
And hopefully I'm going to see Girl with the Needle this weekend because it's playing at a theater near me and it actually looks really cool. Um,
Mm,
and I've heard really good stuff about Seed of the Sacred Fig. But fuck it,
yeah.
yeah, it has to either be Amelia Perez and I'm Still Here. And Amelia Perez is a much flashier movie, and they're gonna want to give it at least a couple things since they loved it so much, enough to give it 13 nominations. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably Amelia Perez. Yeah,
Yeah. And also it has a Flow, which is also on the animated
yeah,
feature.
animated, yeah, yeah,
Um, but speaking of animated, it's the animated feature film. Um,
yeah.
I think it's gonna be The White Robot.
Yeah, it's either going to be Wild Robot or Flow, and it's probably going to be Wild Robot. It was like such an acclaimed movie. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see them going with anything else.
and it also got the score and sound nominees in the
Yeah.
Oscars.
Yeah.
Personally, I only have seen Wallis and the Gromit, and I love that film, so it would be nice
Yeah,
to,
that was great.
but I
That
don't
was
think
really
it's gonna
fun.
win.
No, probably not. I loved Inside Out too also, but that doesn't really have a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Screenplay awards next. Adapted screenplay.
yeah.
I'm gonna predict Conclave.
Yeah, I mean, just because of the sheer amount of awards it's already won, it's probably going to go to Conclave. If it goes to Amelia Perez, that's insane. So that's probably not going to happen. Um, and Sing Sing, I thought was a really good script, but they didn't like the movie that much. So yeah, it's probably going to have to be Conclave. I thought A
And
Complete Unknown had like a surprisingly good script, but what can
yeah,
you do?
yeah. I think Nickel Boys won the beat Writers Guild.
Yeah,
As like,
Nickel Boys. I have to think about that movie because I like just saw that and it didn't hit me as hard as I was expecting it to. It was
hmm,
good, but I was expecting to be like floored by it because I've read
yeah,
the true story and it's like such an emotional story. It's like they went
hmm,
through so much horrible stuff, and
hmm,
it just didn't hit me as hard as just reading about the real story. So I don't know, but
hmm.
it was good. It was just it wasn't great, I don't think.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I think that's coming like next week here,
Yeah.
uh, to Amazon or something. So maybe I'll
It's
watch it.
worth watching for sure. It definitely.
Yeah. Um, Next is the original screenplay, and I'm not sure here.
Yeah, this is tough. I think that, Honora the Brutalist, Real Pain, any of those three could win. I would like The Substance to win, but I don't think it has a shot really.
Maybe thinking it's Baker, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Honora. Yeah, I'm gonna say Honora. Just, the dialogue in that movie was wonderful. And I mean, I think some of it was improvised probably because it was just so natural, but it was just, yeah,
Mm.
it's just it has such great dialogue. It's so funny and like, realistic and relatable and stuff. So, yeah, I think Honora, but any of those top three, if you predicted them, I would totally understand why.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Supporting actress. Um, I think Zoe Saldana has won the most, and probably is
Yeah,
gonna take the Oscar too.
probably. At this point, because Amelia Perez is so controversial, it's kind of hard to imagine it winning anything, but I figure it will. I mean, the voting happened before all the controversy started, really.
Mm,
So yeah, it'll
yeah.
probably be Zoe Saldana. I mean, I think maybe the single biggest snub of this entire list is not having Margaret Qualley here for The Substance. I think that's
Mm.
insane. Out of these nominees, I think the strongest performance here is probably Felicity Jones, but again, not the strongest list of nominees in my opinion.
Supporting actor. Again, I guess I'm gonna go with who's won the most, and that's Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, yeah, open and shut. Yeah, Kieran, there's no way Kieran's gonna lose. Um, I would vote for Edward Norton because I thought he was hilarious in that movie. And I love
Yeah.
Yura Borisov and Honora too. I'm glad that
Mm.
that performance is getting some attention. But yeah, it's gonna go to Kieran.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Best actress.
Mhm.
This is the tough one
Yeah, this is the hardest one to predict.
because we
Yeah,
are pretty SAG also. So
yeah,
uh, I guess it's a fight between Mikey Madison and Demi Moore.
yeah, it
I guess
is.
it could be any one of those. Maybe it was Demi Moore, but now that Mikey won BAFTA, now we're kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen?
I'll
Um,
tell you what I'm thinking. Um, Based on my past experience with the Oscars, okay, like Demi Moore, she has this narrative behind her, that this is her
mm,
comeback. She wasn't treated as a serious actress for a long time, and now she gets this really meaty part where she can really show what she can do. So there's
yeah.
a narrative there. And I almost think that works against her because the Academy has a
Oh.
way of completely ruining these narratives and just spitting on them like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler,
Oh
Michael
man.
Keaton in Birdman,
Oh
you
no.
know, Chadwick Boseman losing to Anthony Hopkins, who wasn't even there. They have these way of it, like they set themselves up for these beautiful moments, and then they never work out, like never. So maybe
Hmm.
just based purely on bitterness, I'm gonna say Mikey Madison's gonna win.
When you were talking about the Demi Moore saga, or I kept thinking about the Brendan Fraser saga that happened like a few years ago with the
Yeah,
whale.
that's true. Yeah,
So it could happen too. It's really tough to say pre-SAG, but I'm gonna say Mikey Madison, but I don't
yeah.
know. It's tough.
I fully admit that, I might change my mind on this before the awards, and there's a good chance that I will. Like I'm going with Mikey Madison today, but like it's so close, like who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. If Demi Moore wins SAG, then I might change my answer.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Um, Best actor, I think this is Brody.
Yeah, this is open and shut. This and supporting actor are the ones that are the most like there's really no chance anybody else is gonna win. I mean, out of
Yeah.
these performances, I think maybe the strongest is Coleman Domingo. He was pretty amazing in that movie, but yeah, it's totally Adrian Brody, no question, no question.
Yeah. Um, I gotta say, I always love Ralph Fiennes. I hope he wins someday. but like
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
crazy that he doesn't, not only does he not have an Oscar, but he's only been nominated like one other time for like Schindler's List. Like it's really weird.
Oh yeah, yeah. Only one. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure, but maybe you're right. And I think he probably should have won with that Schindler's List.
Oh, totally. Yeah, yeah, he's
Uh,
incredible in that movie.
was it Tommy Lee Jones who won that year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for The Fugitive, which is like fine. That's one of those Oscars that I don't understand where it's just like, yeah, it's a good performance, but like really? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird.
I just quickly checked, and Ralph has been nominated for also The English Patient.
All right, The English Patient. Yeah, I've never seen that movie because it looks really boring, but I should probably watch it at some point.
Yeah, it's pretty long, I gotta say. I've seen it once,
Yeah.
but like, but Best Director, um, I think this is a maybe the battle between Baker and Corbet. Did I predict Baker for the screenplay? What did I say? Yeah. So maybe I did. Maybe I'm saying Corbet for director.
Yeah. There are a couple ways this can go where it's like, is whatever wins Best Picture also going to win Best Director, or are they going to split it? Because they do that sometimes where they give Best Picture and Best Director to different movies. It doesn't happen a lot, but I don't know. It's kind of I kind of think that's the way the wind is blowing this year, that different movies are going to win in those two categories. So yeah, I think I'm also going to
Yeah.
say Brady Corbet and director. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I Brutalist probably, yeah. I guess we have Best Picture left. Interesting one.
it is.
So
Yeah,
Anora has like one BGA and Critics' Choice, and
yeah,
um,
DGA. Yeah,
The Brutalist has a Golden Globe, one Golden
hmm
Globe drama, but
yeah.
it didn't. I don't. Does SAG ensemble matter here, or how does?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's SAG Ensemble's a pretty good predictor of Best Picture. I mean, sometimes it's off, but
Because The Brutalist didn't get a nomination there. Is that a bad thing?
I think that's a red flag. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the end of the road, but it's a red flag. For me, it's like The Brutalist is the more conventional Oscar choice. Like that's the more
Yeah.
Oscar-y movie. So if this were like a few years ago, I would predict The Brutalist. But I think lately
Mm.
they've been making an effort to pick like the cool movie, like the more artistically interesting movie, like with Parasite, with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm.
I I mean, now and then they still go with the Oscar safe choice, and they give it to something like what was that freaking movie with Viggo Mortensen in it, where he's
The
driving the
Green
guy,
Book.
Green Book, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they could pull a Green Book and go with the Brutalist and do what they would usually do in years past, but I think they're gonna pick the cool movie and go with Anora.
I think it's a predicting either to like maybe Anora at this point. Maybe I think like they're gonna split like some of these awards, like you said, Gorbe with the director
Yeah.
and picture for Anora, but it's and like was oh yeah, I was just checking was both of them was in the film editing
Yeah, yeah.
nominee. Um and maybe Anora, but like
It's
um
tough. It's really close.
yeah, yeah. Conclave won like BAFTA film and British film,
Yeah.
but I don't see it happening in the Oscars.
Few months ago, I thought Wicked could maybe win, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, no.
When the award season started, it was like getting a surprising amount of critics awards, and I
Mm,
was like, "This does it really
yeah,
have a shot?" It's like such a
yeah.
crowd pleasing movie, but
Mm.
but no, that's over, probably for the best. But
Yeah, like this whole award season is quite long, so it can totally change like
yeah,
who's in the lead, like a few months or even more.
yeah, it's tricky. This year, there's like there's like some drama to this, which is nice. It's nice going in and not knowing everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. Um,
Yeah, makes it more fun.
yeah, true. I have a question for you. You looking forward to the Oscar gala? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I love the Oscars. I mean, I acknowledge that it's kind of like a big dumb show. Like I acknowledge that, but at the same time, like I'm not really a sports guy. Like people have like the Super Bowl and the World Series
mm,
and stuff, and I have the
yeah,
Oscars. That's like my equivalent of that.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I always watch it with my friend, and we always compete as to who's gonna predict more of the categories, right? And this year Conan's hosting, so he
Oh
should at
yeah,
least be good. Love Conan. So
yeah, same. Yeah,
yeah,
I've not, I've not been like as excited for the Oscar host until now. Like,
yeah, no, this is the first interesting choice they've made in like years. So
like
it
at
might
some
be
point
good.
it felt like it's always like Jimmy Kimmel or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been Jimmy Kimmel like 6 times. And like Jimmy Kimmel is not bad, but he's also not good. He's kind of just like white noise, you know? It's just
Middle of
like
the
you
road.
watch Jimmy Kimmel and it's just like this is fine, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I also am always excited to watch the Oscars.
Yeah.
Despite like it sometimes feels a little silly, but when I'm watching it even, but I
Yeah.
always kind of get a good feel because it's like in the nighttime here, so you get a certain feeling when you're watching it
It's
in the
fun. It's
nighttime.
like it's like pageantry and shit. It's fun to make a big deal out of it and get into it with your friends and stuff. It's a
Yeah,
good time. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, sure. But yeah, that's our predictions.
Yeah.
Thanks, Max, for joining.
Sure. Yeah.
And um, yeah, check out the other deep focus stuff here in the channel and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
I